I've been sitting here for a while, just thinking about you. Not in a general way. Not in the way people talk about fans or followers or audiences. I mean you, the one who's watching this right now, the one who clicked, the one who stayed. Because I've noticed something about the people who always show up for me, and I think you might be one of the most important people in my life, even if we've never spoken a single word to each other. And I know that might sound strange. I know it might sound like something people say just to say it. But please, stay with me for a moment. Because what I'm about to tell you, I've never said out loud before. I've kept it inside for a long time, and tonight, for some reason, it just feels like the right moment to let it out. So I'm going to speak to you honestly. The way I'd speak to someone I care about deeply. The way I'd speak to someone who matters. You matter. You genuinely, truly matter to me. I remember the first time I really felt it, that feeling of knowing someone out there was listening. Not just hearing the words, but actually listening. Understanding. Feeling what I was trying to say. And I thought to myself, who is this person? Who is the kind of soul that gives this kind of attention, this kind of warmth to someone they've never even met? And the more I thought about it, the more I started to realize she must be someone extraordinary. She must carry something very rare inside her. A kind of softness that the world doesn't always appreciate. A kind of depth that most people walk right past without noticing. But I notice. I want you to know that. I notice you. There's something I want to tell you, and I need you to really hear it. Not just listen, hear it. Because sometimes the most important things are the ones that get buried under everything else. Under the noise, under the rush, under all the ordinary moments that fill up a day. And I don't want this to get buried. I want this to reach you wherever you are right now. Whether you're lying in bed, or sitting somewhere quiet, or maybe somewhere loud and crowded but feeling completely alone inside, I want these words to find you. Because here's what I've been carrying around for a long time now. I think about what my future looks like, and somewhere in that picture, there's a woman. And every time I try to imagine her face, I can't quite see it clearly, but I can feel her. I can feel the kind of energy she carries, the way she listens, the way she makes a room feel warmer just by being in it, the way she holds on to things with care, not just objects, but moments, memories, people, the way she loves deeply, even when it's scary, even when it's cost her before. And when I think about that woman, I think about you. I know you might be sitting there thinking, he doesn't even know me. And you're right. I don't know your name. I don't know where you grew up, or what you look like when you first wake up in the morning, or what song makes you cry every single time, no matter how many times you've heard it. I don't know what you're afraid of in the dark, or who broke your heart the first time, or what dream you've quietly given up on because the world told you it was too big. I don't know those things yet. But that word yet, that's the one I keep coming back to. Because there's a part of me that believes, in a way I can't fully explain, that the universe has a way of bringing the right people together. Not always in the ways we plan, not always at the time we expect, but always at the moment it's supposed to happen. And maybe this is that moment. Maybe this is the beginning of something neither of us can fully see yet. I want to tell you something about the kind of love I believe in. Not the kind you see in movies that ends perfectly in 2 hours. Not the kind where everything is always beautiful and nothing ever hurts. I believe in the kind of love that holds on during the hard parts. The kind that shows up on the ugly days, the tired days, the defeated days, the days when you don't feel like the best version of yourself, and you're scared someone's finally going to see that and leave. I believe in love that stays, and I want to be the person who stays for you. I've thought about this more than I'd like to admit, about what it would mean to have someone like you in my life, really in my life, not just passing through. I've thought about what it would feel like to hear you laugh at something small and stupid and feel like it's the best sound in the world. To sit across from you somewhere simple, maybe just a kitchen, maybe just a quiet evening, and feel completely at peace. To know that whatever the day brought, whatever went wrong or right, I get to come back to you, that whatever's waiting at the end of the day is you. That thought makes me feel something I don't have a perfect word for. Something warm, something that lives right in the center of my chest. You know what I've realized? The loneliest feeling isn't being alone. The loneliest feeling is being surrounded by people and still feeling like no one really sees you, like you're performing a version of yourself that everyone accepts, but no one actually knows the real thing underneath. I've felt that more times than I want to say, and I really think you might know exactly what I'm talking about. Because the women who are drawn to honest, emotional things, the women who actually feel what they hear, they're usually the ones who've spent a lot of time being deeply understood by very few people. I want to be someone who understands you, not in a surface way, not in the way people say I get you without ever really trying to. I mean in the way that makes you feel like you can breathe all the way out, like you don't have to hold anything back, like you can say the strange, complicated, half-formed things in your heart, and I'll sit with them patiently and try to understand every word, because you deserve that. You deserve someone who tries, someone who doesn't make you feel like your feelings are too much, or too heavy, or too complicated. Someone who doesn't flinch when you're real. I'll be honest with you about something. There have been times when I've wondered if love like that is even possible. If there's really a person out there who fits into your life, not like a puzzle piece snapping into place, but like light coming through a window gradually, softly, warming everything it touches. I've had moments of doubt. I'm sure you have too. Moments where it felt like maybe the kind of connection you're looking for is something other people get, but not you. Moments where you almost talked yourself into settling for something smaller, something safer, something that didn't quite fill the whole space in your chest, but at least it didn't hurt. I want to tell you, please don't settle, please, not because settling is weak. It's not. It's actually one of the bravest things people do, because it comes from a place of exhaustion and hope, all mixed together. But I want better for you. I want more for you. I want you to have the real thing, the full thing, the kind of love that reminds you why you kept believing in it even during all the moments it was hard to believe. And I don't know when that happens for you. I don't know if it's close or far or already quietly beginning somewhere you haven't noticed yet. But I know this. You are the kind of person who deserves to be loved with everything, with honesty and tenderness and attention and patience, with the kind of presence that makes you feel like you're the most important thing in the room, not because of anything you've done, but because of who you simply are. There's something else I want to say, and this one is important. Thank you. I know it might feel strange to hear that, but I mean it from somewhere real and deep. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring about the things I put into the world. Because every time you do, it means more than you know. There are moments when I feel like nothing I'm doing matters, when it all feels too hard and too uncertain, and then I feel the presence of someone like you, someone who genuinely cares, and something shifts inside me. Something steadies. You've kept me going in ways I don't think you realize, and that's not a small thing. That's not something I take for granted. Because in a world that moves so fast, in a world where attention is pulled in 1,000 directions at once, you chose to give yours to me. You chose to stay. And every single time you do that, a little piece of my heart quietly holds on to it. I want to ask you something, and I want you to really think about it. When you imagine the life you actually want, not the one you think is realistic, not the one you've been told you should want, but the real one, the one that lives in that soft, private place inside you, that you don't often show people, what does it look like? What does it feel like? Is there someone in it who really sees you? Is there warmth? Is there a hand you can reach for in the middle of the night? I think about mine. I think about it more lately than I used to, and I think about you in it. Not because I've built some fantasy, not because I'm lost in something that isn't real, but because the connection I feel, this quiet, strange, undeniable thing, doesn't feel like nothing. It feels like something, and I've learned slowly and sometimes painfully to trust the things that feel like something. So I'm trusting this. I don't know everything about where this goes. I don't have all the answers, and I won't pretend that I do. But I know that you are someone I think about with softness. Someone I want good things for. Someone whose heart I would handle with care. If you ever let me close enough to hold it. There's so much more I want to say to you. So much I've been thinking about, feeling, holding quietly inside. And I'm not ready to stop talking to you yet. I'm not ready to let this moment close. Because there's something about right now, about you listening and me finally saying the things I've kept too long, that feels too important to rush, too rare to treat carelessly. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep talking to you because I don't think I'm done yet. I don't think we're done yet. Can I tell you something that I've never quite said out loud before? Something that I've turned over in my mind so many times that it's worn smooth at the edges, like a stone you keep in your pocket for comfort. I've spent a long time trying to be someone worthy of the kind of love I actually want. Not performing it, not pretending, actually becoming it. Doing the quiet, invisible work of growing, of looking honestly at the broken parts of myself, and deciding to tend to them instead of hiding them. And that's not easy work. It doesn't come with applause. Nobody sees the moments you choose to be better when no one is watching. Nobody hands you anything for the nights you sat with your own pain and decided not to run from it. But I did it. I kept doing it. And part of the reason I kept going was because somewhere inside me, I believed that there was someone worth doing it for. Someone who would one day be close enough that they would feel the difference. Someone who deserved, a man who had done the work. Not a perfect man, never that, but an honest one, a present one. One who knows how to say I was wrong and mean it. One who knows how to love without losing himself in it, and hold on without holding too tight. I want to be that for you. I've been building toward that. Even on the days I didn't know it was you, I was building toward. I think about small things a lot. I know that might sound strange. People talk about love in big, sweeping terms, grand gestures, and dramatic moments, and the kind of scenes that look beautiful from a distance. But the things that move me most are the small ones. The ones that happen quietly between two people that no one else ever sees or knows about. The way someone looks at you when you say something they weren't expecting, and you can tell in that half second before they respond that it landed somewhere real inside them. The way a hand finds yours without either of you deciding to reach. The way a name can sound completely different, coming from one particular mouth, like it's being spoken for the first time, like it belongs somewhere it's never belonged before. Those are the things I want. Those ordinary, private, irreplaceable things. And I want them with someone who feels them too. With someone who doesn't need the moment to be big, to know that it matters. Someone who can sit in a quiet room and feel the fullness of it. Someone who laughs easily and cries without shame and loves with her whole self, not just the safe, presentable parts. Someone like you. I've been thinking about what I would say if I ever had the chance to really talk to you. Not a post, not a message through a screen, but really talk. Sitting somewhere comfortable with all the time in the world and nothing to perform. Just honesty. Just two people who've been carrying their own stories for a long time, finally setting them down in front of each other and saying, "Here, this is mine. What do you think?" I would want to know everything, not in the way people ask questions to fill silence, but in the way that comes from genuine, hungry curiosity. I would want to know what shaped you, what the turning points were, the moments where your life bent in a direction you didn't expect, and somehow, painfully or beautifully, you found your way through. I would want to know what you love that you don't talk about much, because it feels too private or too strange or too soft for the regular conversations people have. I would want to know what you're proud of, even if no one else knows to be proud of it with you. I would sit and I would listen, really listen, not waiting for my turn to speak, actually listening, letting every word settle into me before I reached for the next one. Because you deserve to be heard, fully, patiently, completely heard. And something tells me that hasn't always been easy to find. I wonder sometimes about the version of you that existed before the world got to you. Before whatever hurt you, Before you learned to be careful, to guard certain things, to keep pieces of yourself back for safety. I wonder what that version of you was like. Wide open, unafraid, pouring herself into everything without hesitation. I wonder if she's still in there, somewhere underneath everything. I think she is. I think the women who feel things as deeply as I believe you do, they never really lose that part of themselves. They just get protective of it. They save it for the ones who've earned it. When I want to earn it, I want to be the reason you slowly, carefully decide to open back up to something. Not because I'm asking you to be vulnerable before you're ready, never that. But because you feel over time that I'm someone who would treat whatever you hand me with the kind of reverence it deserves. Like something precious. Like something I understand the weight of. Your trust is something I would carry gently. Let me tell you about something that happened not too long ago. I was having one of those days. The kind where nothing is catastrophically wrong, but everything feels slightly off, like the world is a few degrees tilted, and you can't quite find your footing. I was sitting somewhere quiet, and I found myself thinking, almost involuntarily, about what it would feel like to have someone, not anyone specific, just the concept of a person, a warm, present, real person who was mine and who I was theirs, and the ache of that was so sudden and so specific that it surprised me. It sat right in the middle of my chest, like something with weight. And then, almost immediately after, I thought of you. Not your face, I still can't quite see it, but your presence, the feeling of you, the warmth of knowing you exist somewhere, that you're real, that you're out there going through your days and feeling your feelings and carrying your beautiful, complicated self through the world. And that thought, that simple, strange thought, made the ache quieter. It didn't erase it, but it softened it. You softened it. And I don't know what to do with that, except tell you, because it felt like something you should know. It felt like something I owed you. There are things I've been afraid of. I'll tell you that honestly because I think honesty matters more than appearing fearless. I've been afraid of getting it wrong, of loving someone and still somehow failing them, not through cruelty, not through carelessness, but through the kind of subtle, unintentional wounds that people who care about each other can still cause. I've been afraid of being too much and not enough simultaneously, which sounds impossible but somehow feels very real. I've been afraid of the ordinary erosion that happens to things when time passes and life gets heavy, and the initial brightness fades and you have to choose again and again to love on purpose instead of on feeling. I've been afraid of choosing and being chosen, and then slowly, painfully becoming strangers. But here's what I've decided. Fear doesn't get to make my choices. It gets to show up. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't, but it doesn't get to be in charge. Because the things worth having are on the other side of the fears worth facing. And you, the possibility of you, the reality of you, whatever this is between us that I can't fully name, you are worth facing it for. I want to tell you something about the way I see you. Even without knowing all your details, even without the full picture, I see something in the kind of person who would still be here, still listening, still feeling their way through these words with me. I see someone who hasn't given up on meaning, who still believes that things can be real and deep and lasting, who shows up for the things that move her even when it would be easier not to feel so much. That's rare. I want you to know how rare that is, because I think sometimes the world treats sensitivity like a flaw, like something to be managed or apologized for, and I want to look you directly in the eye through whatever distance sits between us, and tell you that your depth is not a burden. It's the most beautiful thing about you. I think about the life I want to build. Not the version I present, not the version that looks right from the outside. The actual one, the private one, the one that lives in the future, I'm quietly working toward. And in that life there is someone. There is a presence, a warmth, a specific kind of peace that only comes from being truly known. There are mornings that don't need to be spectacular to feel full. There are conversations that last longer than they're supposed to, because neither of us is ready to let the moment end. There is laughter that comes easily, and silence that isn't awkward, and the particular comfort of being with someone who doesn't need you to explain yourself, because somehow, almost impossibly, they already understand. That's what I want. That's what I'm holding space for. And I want it to be you. Whether that's something that makes sense to you, whether that lands somewhere soft or somewhere confusing, I want you to hear it from me clearly. I want it to be you, not a version of you that's perfect, not a version that has everything figured out. The real you, with the uncertain parts and the tender parts, and the parts that are still healing from something, and the parts that light up without warning when something finally gets it right. All of it. Every part of the person who's sitting somewhere right now, listening to me say things I should have said a long time ago. I have so much more inside me that I want to share with you. So many more things I've been thinking about, wondering about, hoping for. And I'm not ready to let this go quiet yet, because every time I imagine stopping, I think about you on the other side of this, still listening, still here, and something in me says not yet. Stay a little longer. There's still so much to say, so I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere, and I hope more than I know how to say properly that you're not either. Because this feeling, whatever it is, wherever it's going, I don't want to walk through it alone. And I don't think you do either. And maybe that's enough to start with. Maybe that's the most honest, most important thing I could ever say to you. I don't want to do this without you. And I meant every syllable of that. I didn't say it because it sounded right, or because it was the kind of thing that feels good to hear. I said it because it came from somewhere so deep inside me, that by the time it reached my mouth, it had already passed through everything, through every doubt, every fear, every moment of almost giving up, and it still came out whole, still came out true. That's how I know it means something. That's how I know this isn't just words. And I've been thinking since the last time I spoke to you about what it actually means to choose someone. Not the feeling of choosing, the act of it. The deliberate, eyes open, full awareness decision to say you, out of everything and everyone, you. Because I think we live in a time that talks about love mostly in terms of feeling. We say things like it just happened, or I couldn't help it, or it hit me all at once. And those things are real. I'm not saying they're not. But I think love in its truest, most durable form is also a decision, made quietly, made repeatedly, made on the days when the feeling isn't loud and the reasons aren't obvious, and the only thing keeping you there is the choice itself. I want to make that choice. I want to make it with full understanding of what it costs and what it gives. I want to look at the whole of something, the beauty and the difficulty, the brightness and the weight, and say yes anyway, not despite the complexity. Because of it. Because anything worth having is going to ask something of you. And I want to be the kind of person who gives it willingly. I want to give it to you willingly. There's a question I've been sitting with for a while now, and I think it's finally time to say it out loud. Do you ever feel like you've been waiting for something you can't quite name? Not restless. Exactly. Not unhappy. Just aware of a space, like a room in your heart that's been furnished carefully and kept clean, and the door stays open, but no one's walked through it yet. And you've started to wonder if maybe you imagined the room entirely, if maybe you dreamed it into existence, and there's no one actually coming. Do you know that feeling? Do you know that feeling? I know it. I know it from the inside. And what I want to tell you, what I need you to hear, is that the room is real. The space is real. You didn't imagine it, and you didn't invent a need that doesn't deserve to be met. You are someone who is capable of a love so full and so genuine that, of course, there's space inside you waiting for it to be matched. Of course, there's something in you that recognizes it's not there yet, and keeps that door open, keeps that room ready, keeps believing even when believing is hard. Don't close that door, please. Whatever you do, don't close it, because I believe, with something quieter and more certain than hope, something that lives underneath hope, in a place I don't have a perfect word for, that the right person walking through that door is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when isn't always on the schedule we draw up for ourselves. When doesn't always arrive on time by our clocks, but it arrives, it finds its way, and when it does, everything that came before it, every waiting moment, every almost right thing that turned out to be wrong, every night you talked yourself into being patient, one more time, all of it makes sense. All of it becomes the path that led exactly here. Whenever you're here, I want to be the moment where it all makes sense. Let me tell you about something I've noticed about you. I know I keep saying that. I know it might seem impossible to notice something about someone I haven't held a conversation with, someone whose face I couldn't pick out of a crowd. But there are things you reveal just by being present, just by showing up. for the kinds of things you show up for, just by the quality of attention you carry. And what I've noticed is this. You feel things longer than most people. Something lands in you and it stays. You carry it. You return to it. You let it move through you slowly, rather than rushing past it. And that means that the things that reach you really reach you. They don't just graze the surface.